Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is one I have really been looking forward to making, and it's also one that I know you guys have been wanting to see. In the time that I've been on YouTube, I have posted a lot of videos on goal setting, habit building, and how to build healthy routines. Not all, but most of those videos have kind of been about how to start, how to come up with a plan, a vision, a goal to work towards. Today's video is about how to follow through. I'm gonna walk you through how to go from a vision to a result. I'm also going to give you an update on my Q1 goals for this year and how I am actually doing with them. Really quick before we jump into it, I want to say a huge thank you to the How to Take Action podcast for working with me on this video. As always, there will be timestamps on today's video, so if you are looking for something specific, definitely make sure to check those out. If you're watching this video, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that there is some type of goal that you're working towards, maybe even multiple. If you're having a hard time actually crossing that finish line, you are not alone. The first step to following through on whatever goals you set for yourself is to get specific. It's okay if this takes some time. You need to think through exactly what it is that you're trying to work towards and why. This isn't supposed to be overwhelming or intimidating. This is an opportunity to daydream. Flesh out the ideas that you have. Make Pinterest vision boards. Look for inspiration. For 3 years in a row, I set myself the goal of establishing a healthy workout routine. And for 3 years in a row, I came nowhere close to hitting that goal. It was a good goal and I really wanted to make it happen, but it was so non-specific that following through was incredibly challenging. I never really defined what I meant by a healthy workout routine, or even how consistent I needed to be in order for it to count as a routine. Without a clear plan, it was really easy for the whole thing to get derailed when I wasn't in the mood. There are exceptions to this, times when it makes sense and is arguably even healthier to set ambiguous goals for yourself. I've done this during times when I was trying to take up something for fun, areas where I specifically wanted to engage out of desire, not discipline. Vague goals aren't always bad, but if you're gonna make it vague on purpose. The next step to following through on your goals is to make a plan. And before you're like, yes, thank you for this incredibly insightful revelation, hear me out. Also, I just realized that I had some mascara on my eyelids, so pretend like you didn't see that, okay? I've made plans for goals for years and years, but I have completely changed the way that I've done them in the last 6 months, and that is entirely due to my friend slash coach, the amazing Sarah Arnold Hall. I've mentioned Sarah's coaching and insights before on my channel because she's seriously one of the coolest people I know. She is the one who taught me this method on following through that has changed everything for me. I used to make action plans for my goals by sitting down and brainstorming everything that I could think of to help ensure the desired result, often adding to the plan while I was working on it. And honestly, a lot of the time, this just ended up being super overwhelming. Enter Sarah, who I started working with last September. When I launched my YouTube channel, I had a goal of getting monetized by the end of January. I really wanted to do this full time, and in order to do that, I needed to be bringing in an income. One of the first things that we did was write out a bare minimum plan, only what absolutely had to get done in order to make that happen. And to be honest with you, I was super uncomfortable with that. For most of my life, I've unofficially operated under the principle that if something is worth doing, it's worth overdoing. And so I've strived to cover every base, avoid every possible misstep, plan for anything that could possibly go wrong. And while I've certainly accomplished some things, the overwhelming result of this is just burnout. This was the first time in my life that I had ever approached a goal with this kind of mindset, and I had a lot of doubts. We made a plan of exactly what needed to happen, nothing more, nothing less, and I hit the goal 6 weeks early. You can hear more about this story and my YouTube journey in general right after this video, because I had the honor of being a guest on the How to Take Action podcast, which is hosted by, drumroll please, Sarah Arnold Hall. You guys, this was so much fun and such a cool thing to be a part of. I'm a big podcast girl, but I often find certain podcasts to be a little bit of an overwhelming information dump. It's just like a 40-minute long overload, and it's good information, but it's really hard to actually take it in and find practical ways to apply it. Which is why I have been obsessed with the How to Take Action podcast. Not only is Sarah brilliant, but she delivers really digestible insights in like 10 to 15 minute segments. I've been listening every week for the last few months, and it has been so good. In this podcast, Sarah addresses things like burnout, accountability, and what's really holding you back from following through. It is insane to me that all of this information is available to you for free, and I genuinely cannot recommend it enough. In my episode, we talked a lot about my YouTube journey, what I did to actually end up where I am, specifically in the context of overcoming fear and getting over what people were thinking about me. You can listen to How to Take Action anywhere podcasts are available, and I'll have a link to my episode in the description box below. I also just highly recommend following Sarah on social media, especially if you're an entrepreneur or content creator. Her content is just so valuable and packed with such great information. Every single time she posts, I have to like digest and process what she's saying because it's just so good. So much of the time, we end up overcomplicating complicating things for ourselves. We are our greatest obstacles, which is why this next step is so important. If you want to follow through on your goals, simplify everything. The less you have to do, the easier it is to complete. Speaking from personal experience, the best thing about following through once is that as soon as you have that process down, it's easier to do it again and again and again. Not only are those actions and the discipline becoming habit for you, but you're also creating evidence for yourself to look back on and know that you've completed hard things and you can continue to do more of them. That's not to say that following through is easy, but it's definitely a muscle that you develop and strengthen over time. When you start following through on little things, the medium ones get easier because you know what you're doing. Following through becomes a habit and eventually one that you'll start doing without even thinking about it. The next piece to following through, and this one has been absolutely crucial for me, is learning how to change your thoughts. Your actions and ability to follow through don't just happen. They flow out of what you believe about your situation and impact everything you do to change it. When I started my channel, I was really nervous to see what the response would be. I have this really nasty habit of writing my own hate comments. Not literally, but like when I'm editing a video, particularly when I was earlier on in my channel, I used to sit there and just pick myself apart. I would imagine that I was somebody watching my video thinking the nastiest possible things about me, misinterpreting every word that came out of my mouth, and it was paralyzing. The thing is, the more my channel grows, the more eyes end up on my videos, the more opinions and feedback I get. There have been times, and there are going to continue to be times, where people either don't resonate with what I'm saying, don't understand what I'm saying, or just don't agree or like it. And that's okay. That is an inevitable reality of life. But thinking about it all the time was freaking me out. So I started replacing the mental hate comments with the idea that people are allowed to be wrong about me. This is something that Sarah introduced. This has been one of the most life-changing statements I have ever internalized. Because people have been wrong about me, both online and in my personal life, and that will happen for the rest of my life. In the same way, I'm gonna be wrong about other people. And coming to terms with that made it so much easier to kind of brush off those little comments. When you're trying to follow through on a goal, especially if it's something big that not everyone understands, this is a really key thing to get a handle on. Part of being able to follow through for me was just letting go of that opinion piece, making it okay for people to be wrong about me, and refocusing my attention to following through on my goal. I think my plan for getting monetized on YouTube had about 4 or 5 big ticket items on it. Once you have that overall plan, it's time to set up check-in points. I found that once a week was a really good time frame, and I would definitely recommend that just because it's regular enough that it keeps you accountable, but it also felt like long enough that I had a chance to make progress before the next check-in point. At each one of these, I would come up with a focus for the next week and usually 3 to 4 things that I wanted to get done for that week. This is when I would take items that I used to make a part of my overarching plan and just make them smaller steps along the way. I actually felt like I was making progress. I knew that I was on track. I was able to evaluate everything that I had done and look ahead without feeling overwhelmed. These small, digestible, trackable steps were so much more effective than one giant long to-do list. If your plan is the foundation, then each of these is a brick. I don't care if that's a cheesy analogy, it's the best one I can think of right now. Following through is not about forcing yourself to do one really, really hard thing. It's just about showing up over and over again. The next step to following through on your goals is to develop a good system to keep track of everything. Personally, I am a huge fan of digital planning, specifically Notion. I find to be just an incredible tool. I use this to keep track of all of my goals, both annually, monthly, and weekly. I fill out daily to-do lists here. This is where I plan my content, organize brand deals, reading list, grocery list, bucket list. I house pretty much all of it in Notion. Maybe you're not a digital planner and that's totally fair, but I highly recommend having a place to actually write down all of the parts of the plan and then also to house all of your check-in assessments and what you're learning. Keeping it all in your head is a really unnecessary mental load. The last thing that I want to mention before we move into my Q1 goals is the absolute essential importance of accountability. Having people in your life who are invested in you, who care about you, who are cheering for you, and who can also call you out or tell you hard things when you don't want to hear them is so important, especially if following through is something that you're new at, but it's also important to have the right type of accountability. There are people in my life that I am much more sensitive to criticism from. Actually, the original reason that I signed up for coaching was because I knew I needed accountability, and at that time, I didn't feel like I had anyone in my life who I knew would say things to me that I was ready to hear it from. Zach and I are each other's biggest cheerleaders, but I also felt really vulnerable about YouTube, and I needed him to just be my support. Whatever it is in your life that you're working towards, find good accountability, people that you can trust, that you're willing to hear from, and maybe people you can be accountability for too. All right, now let's move into my Q1 goals. Okay. 2023 yearly plans and goals. Let's have a look at this bad boy. First things first was to get my first sponsorship on YouTube. I did complete this one in January, which was very exciting. I've had the honor of working with a few brands that I really, really love, and it's been so fun. So I'm excited to continue getting to share products that I love with you guys and just work with really cool brands. Another one of my Q1 goals was to clear out my work inbox. I have done that, and I've actually managed to maintain inbox zero quite frequently. I have no unread emails at the moment, and it feels very good. Have fun with / explore winter fashion. Done. I was able to actually partner with Cider on a video where I did that, and that was so fun. They were very kind to send me a bunch of clothes, which was amazing because moving to Ottawa, I owned like 2 or 3 sweaters, and that was a problem. Drink less alcohol. I'm trying to remember if I've talked about this on YouTube before. At the start of the year, I decided that I wanted to cut way back on drinking. I've never been a heavy drinker, but in the winter, I just kept finding myself in situations where I was socially drinking a lot more than I wanted to. And I have cut way back. I think I had a beer last night for probably like the second time this year. I've had drinks probably like 5 times total, so that's been really nice. I honestly don't miss it. Do monthly financial meetings with Zach. We have been doing monthly financial meetings, but just not that formally. Like, we've ended up talking a lot more about finances in the last few months, kind of on like the daily, so it just hasn't really felt necessary to do a monthly sit down. But the goal obviously was just to communicate about finances, so I'm okay with that one. Get plugged in at church. Yes, that is a big one. We have found a church in Ottawa that we absolutely love. We're really starting to build some friendships there. I just signed up to start serving, and it's been really lovely. Stick to weekly date night. We have definitely done this, which has just been so good for our marriage, and having that time one-on-one to just spend intentional time together has been really great. My lips are so dry again. Build healthy everyday routines. I've marked this one as in progress. The routines that I thought I was gonna start building in January are not currently the ones that I am actively practicing now. If you are a subscriber on my channel, you probably know that I have had a pretty rough start to the year, just been dealing with some mental health stuff that I really wasn't planning on, and it's been pretty intense. I'm doing a lot better now, but the first couple months of the year were quite bad, so I tossed a lot of goals and expectations. I don't want to say toss them out the window, I just kind of redefined them. So some of the healthy routines that I've been sticking to have been sleeping in a little bit later, saying no to things, taking more time off of social media, just sort of different goals than I had in January, but I am still happy with where I'm at. Go skating. Nope, did not happen. The canal didn't freeze, and there were still a few skating rinks in Ottawa that we wanted to go to, but didn't really happen. And then now it's spring, hopefully to stay, so it's a bit late for that. Post 3 times a week on YouTube. It definitely depends a little bit week to week, but I'm gonna mark it as complete because I think that's definitely been my average. Get an Ottawa library card. Nope, this still hasn't happened. I really need to get on this. I really wanna get a library card, but yeah, I did not do this. Take Sundays off of social media every week. This also did not happen. Post a video every day in January. No, if you remember, that was a big goal of mine for the start of the year, and like 1 week in, my mental health just plummeted and it was really bad, so I did not do that. Post on Instagram 3 times a week. Ugh, I'm trying to post on Instagram more. I'm so bad at remembering to do it, but this didn't happen. Learn to shuffle cards. This was a huge goal of mine for January because I never learned as a kid, and it's been a weird kind of insecurity for me of not knowing how to shuffle cards. This was another one of those life didn't go according to plan, and I've had a couple pretty bad flare-ups of carpal tunnel syndrome, so I think I'm actually gonna move this one to Q2 because I still would really like to do it. I don't wanna injure myself or trigger another flare-up, so we're gonna hold off on that one. Read for at least 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Oh my goodness, you guys. I've been reading like crazy this year. I actually really need to charge my Kindle because I haven't been able to read the last couple nights, but I've been reading every day before bed. I have read so far 18 books, which I'm just so excited about. I'd like to read 75 books this year, and I'm super happy about that. I'm just having so much fun reading, and yeah, if you have any book recommendations, let me know. I'm about to start tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Also joined a book club, which I'm just so stoked about. Read through the Bible. It was another goal of mine to do a Bible reading plan this year, and I have not stuck to that at all. I would really like to get back into a better rhythm of morning devotions. I have not stuck to this, which I'm not super proud of. I'm not gonna lie to you, I actually hit way more of those goals than I thought I would. That was not nearly as bad as I was expecting. I had a really rough Q1 and it just didn't look anything like I expected, and I feel like I was running on autopilot for a lot of those months. So it's really exciting to look back and realize that even when I wasn't doing well, I was able to stick to the vast majority of the important goals I set for this quarter. A lot of the ones I missed were things that weren't really top priority, and I'm totally okay to move those to another time. I am in a really exciting place with work. I have some super fun videos coming up so soon, including a desk makeover that I can't wait to show you guys. Actually, as soon as I finish this video, I have to go collect my Amazon packages from the mailroom because it's here and I'm so excited. Let me know if you guys want to see a video with my Q2 goals. I need to actually go through and just make a couple of edits and updates on them, but I have a few different goal setting productivity videos coming soon that I could totally include those in, so definitely let me know. I'm just so honored that I get to work on my goals alongside you guys, change our lives together, and it's just such an honor to do this with you. So if there are any videos on productivity or goal setting, habit building that you would like to see from me soon, definitely leave a comment and let me know. Go check out the How to Take Action podcast. It's so good. You will not regret it. I hope you guys have a good day because today is a good day to have a good day. And yeah, that's it. Bye.